Hey, Slackers, welcome back to my channel, Serious Slack with Cerius Blaq. I am your host, CB. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing comic creator and editor and so much more, KEL McDONALD. KEL, please say hi to my Slackers.
Hi. As Cerius said, I am a comic creator and an editor, and also I'm a werewolf expert.
That is facts.
Yeah.
I would say you are a werewolf expert, but having read your books over the years, the supernatural in general, you seem to have you're locked in.
Werewolves are my favorite, though.
Okay. Do you have a favorite werewolf?
You mean not counting the ones I make? Because those are my favorites.
That's cheating.
Yeah. My favorite werewolf movie is When Animals Dream, which is a movie from Denmark about a girl who, the part that's interesting is it's very clear to the audience that she's a werewolf, and also maybe the whole town she lives in knows that she's a werewolf, but no one is telling her what's going on. So it's like part body horror, part like the whole town gaslighting her.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Does she not know she's a werewolf?
She does not know at the beginning. Like, obviously she figures it out, but it's really good.
When did this come out?
I think 2014, maybe 2015.
Okay.
It didn't get a big release in America because it's subtitled. But I really liked it because it's a little bit slower than other werewolf movies because it's like amping up that dread. Okay.
You know what? I'm into that though. I think that I will put that on my Friday night watch list that I do at my house and just hang out with people. We try to watch all sorts of different things, and maybe I'll watch it for my Patreon. And that sounds pretty cool. Damn. Okay. Now I'm thinking about the movie. Let's get into you. Yeah. You're a comic creator and an editor. Which came first?
Comic creation. I started my webcomic Sorcery 101 in 2005 while I was still in high school. And put the first page up online May 12th. And so I'm coming up on the 20th anniversary of Sorcery 101, and I'm trying to currently figure out a thing that I can do to make that an event. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will certainly tune in for it once I catch up. That's a lot of book.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
I did it for 12 years, and it finalized at 1,600 pages.
Whoa.
Okay. So if you see me at conventions, I have 2 volumes of Sorcery 101 that are like a brick.
Okay. So you got some of those books that double as weapons. Got it.
Yes. I do have some books that double as weapons. Yeah.
Okay. Dang. That's a hell of a career. And are you would you say that you're still going strong with so many things, which we're going to get into in a second.
Yeah.
That's your longest running project.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What's your second biggest project?
I think right now it's probably The City Between, which is the thing I'm doing now.
Okay.
But the second longest planned is right now it's on pause because I haven't had time to work on it. I had an idea for an epic fantasy story called You Are the Chosen One, which is about 23 kids get the same prophecy dream telling them they're the chosen one. And I have that outlined. And I drew 100 pages of that, but I haven't been able to get back to drawing it.
That's madness.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, that's a hell of a concept.
But so the city between is easier to work on because it's short stories that are all about like 100 pages each, and you can read them in any order. So after doing something as long as Sorcery 101, I was like, so I like these parts of Sorcery 101, but I would like to be able to start and stop it as needed, like when stuff comes up. So because it's broken into like self-contained stories that are about 100 pages each, it's easier for me to like put on pause, work on something else, then go back to it.
That's fair.
And also, I like world building, but I like world building through storytelling, like organically. There was a lot of like world building stuff for Sorcery 101 that didn't quite make it into the story because it would interrupt what the story was focused on. And since the city between, what it has in common is the setting, so I actually jump around from character to character as I get ideas for the world.
Well, here, let me pull this up so that people can get an idea of what we're talking about here. So this is right off of your website.
Yeah.
That's the story list. And I do have some examples for two of these, but I wanted to be able to see it as we continue to talk about this.
So it's basically while working on Sorcery 101 and other various comics, Volume 1 always sells the most at conventions because if someone comes up and doesn't know you, they always buy Volume 1. And to sort of even out the sales of the whole series, because you can read it in any order, when people ask, well, where do I start? Instead of being Fame and Misfortunes, the first one, I ask, do you prefer action, comedy, or mystery? And depending on what they say, that's the one that I push them toward.
Nice. Okay, let me take this down for a second because I actually do have one here.
Yeah.
Tell us about it doesn't matter where this is in the story. This is just part of the story. Correct?
Yeah, so The Better to Find You With was the second one. It's the one that's a little bit more lighthearted. So if someone says they prefer comedy, I tell them to pick up this one. It is about a werewolf and a veterinarian team up to find a newbie werewolf. And so they're solving kind of a goofier, more lighthearted mystery. And it's also in more of a rural setting compared to the other stories. Most of the other stories take place in the main city.
City, right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is that's sorry. I was laughing because like, how do you think of these things?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to give away too much. I'm just showing people examples. So
it's basically the benefit of the city between is as I write stuff, I sometimes think of a world building thing that I don't have time to address in the story that I'm currently working on. So I can then use that to be like the start of another story. So they do build off each other. It's just it's okay if you read them in different orders.
Okay. Fair. What about so I don't remember if this is related, but I'm just going to pull up some things, and I'd love for you to tell us about. I need y'all to understand something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm talking to my slackers now. KEL has a shit ton of books. Okay, so we're gonna go through as many as I could pull up and just hear some information about each one. Okay, so this one I'm pulling up next.
So Fame and Misfortune was the first city between story,
right?
And it is a werewolf bodyguard protecting a spoiled celebrity who's cursed. And this was the first one because the main character is the only supernatural thing in the story for the most part. So it's a good way to introduce both the mundane parts of the setting as well as the supernatural parts. and she's a known werewolf because people do know that werewolves are real in this universe. I haven't really dug into it yet. But basically, werewolves revealed that they're real as sort of a test run to see if other supernatural creatures can also reveal that they're real. Because as technology's gotten more advanced, they're going to get found out and caught on camera sooner or later.
That was my next question.
Yeah, so it's basically humans know about werewolves, but not about like vampires and other stuff.
And that brings up a question. But I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Please go ahead.
But it's supposed to be the werewolves are the little they're the test run for the rest of the supernatural world. And the logic behind that is because when you get bit by a werewolf, you still have to maintain your human life. Like if you become a vampire, you're dead, so you don't have to go to your job again. But if you're a werewolf, you do. So since werewolves have more human connections, they're the easiest guinea pig to get humans to accept them.
I suppose so. Let me ask you this. What would be the ideal job for somebody that is a werewolf? Like, what have you thought about this? Like, if you got to keep a day job?
So, the Rebecca in Fame and Misfortune is a bodyguard, so she can flex her super strength and speed when she needs to, and heightened senses help scope out what's going on. Then the werewolf in Better to Find You With, he's actually a nurse. And that's less to do with being a werewolf and more he's just like, I just like helping people. The veterinarian that he is hanging out with in his story does ask him, so can you sense auras the way some service dogs can sense like someone about to have a seizure? And he's just like, that's not why I'm a nurse. I just wanted to help people.
I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah.
That's
and then the werewolf who is sort of the main face of werewolfism is a cop. And it's because he can do the drug sniffing dog part of
God.
Cop, as well as
super cop. Okay.
Yeah.
You see the arrest record? It's out of this world.
Yeah.
I do have another question about this world, though, because you did say that the werewolves are the test to see if other supernatural beings can come forth. And technology, you mentioned technology. And so I've been thinking about this for a while now, like with vampires, the lore, some of the lore has always talked about like, pictures and mirrors and all that. Will they be able to be caught on video?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. So there are vampires. The fifth story in the series focuses on a vampire. The Dead Deception, which is the third one, has a vampire on video. And then the fifth story focuses on the vampire that's like a bit player in the third story.
Okay. Can I make a request?
Yeah.
Can you make a vampire whose job it is to be a DJ?
Sure.
Okay, sweet. No reason. I just thought of it and I was like, let me just throw it out there. Let me move on to some other things. We got a lot of other books to cover because you are a busybody.
So there's the Dead Deception, which I just mentioned, that has the vampire gets caught on camera.
Okay, so that is that one. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
I dig that. Also, while we're talking about this, I have to say that I also really love your style.
Thank you.
Of art, because like it really fits well so far from what I've purchased from you and read with the stories that you're telling. It's well thought out every time, and the feeling it correlates. But you have a little bit of pulpiness to it, and I love that. If that makes sense. Does that sound?
Yeah, okay. It makes sense. I like to work in black and white because I hate coloring. Sorcery 101's in color, and after coloring 1,600 pages, I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do this ever again.
Okay, noted. All right, up next, tell us about Stars Hide Your Fire.
Stars Hide Your Fire is a middle grade book that I did with my buddy Jose. I wrote, lettered, and colored it, and Jose did the line art. And it's two friends get involved, pulled into opposite sides of a supernatural conflict in their hometown. It's slightly inspired by Something Wicked This Way Comes. Because there's a line in the beginning of Something Wicked This Way Comes about the two boys throwing rocks at abandoned house windows.
Yep,
and it says one boy threw one more rock than he would have if he was alone, and one boy threw one less rock than if he was alone. And I liked that sort of description of a relationship, but there aren't that many female relationships and friendships that are kind of like that. So that was sort of going in what I was intending to do with Stars Hide Your Fire.
Okay. Knowing that context makes it a little bit more special for me. So thank you. Oh boy.
Yeah.
This anthology is exactly what it sounds like. You died, an anthology of the afterlife, y'all.
And it's about death and short stories about people dealing with death, about what happens to you after you die. And I won an Eisner for it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. This is a great project, y'all. There's besides your own, is there any particular story that also stood out to you? Like, I'm not saying favorites, but like,
I didn't do a story for this one. I just edited it.
I mean, then when did you edit it? Besides that one, because obviously I think that one is. Wait, did you edit the whole thing?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God, I misread that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rephrase my question then. While you were editing this whole thing, and I'm not saying pick favorites or anything, but was there a particular story that like kind of hit you?
There's one about like a mom that doesn't want to pack up their kid's room after their kid died.
Oof.
And that one, I think, was really powerful, and I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, I can see how that would be. I mean, just thinking about that right now put me in the feels.
Yeah.
Okay. These are all available, by the way. I will be putting links below to where you can find all of these materials in the description, so make sure to look out for that. Okay, the Stone King. With colors.
No. I didn't do the colors in this one.
Colors,
yeah,
because that's what you got to do, though. You got to get other people to do colors now for you.
Yeah,
but this is a hell of a team.
Yep. So this one is fantasy. A thief girl kind of going on her own adventure. She steals a thing from the titular Stone King and then has to return it because it makes the Stone King like lash out at the city that she lives in. So,
was this the first time you worked with Crook?
Yep.
Okay. I imagine it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
Getting to see all of the art coming back. And did you feel like it just like perfectly aligned with what you had envisioned? Well,
so this one, actually, the story came out in a unique way, which is I said to Tyler, I wanted to work with you. what do you want to draw? And he explained a picture he had in his head. And then I came up with a story to go with that picture.
Get out of here. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard that. I don't think I've ever heard that before. That's fascinating.
So that's why this one is kind of one and done, because it was basically filling in what the creation-wise, it was filling in what Tyler put on the table and giving some it's a fairly like straightforward story because I didn't get as nitty gritty into my personal bullshit.
Okay. But sometimes that's what we need. Like sometimes I just need a really good story that I can like, a one and done suits me very well, depending on my mood. So
yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting into a series of books where originally I thought there were 4 in the series. There are 6. I learned that right before this interview, so I feel like now I have to spend more money. So they're not in the order or anything like that, but can you start by telling everybody about the collective first?
Okay, so Cautionary Fables and Fairytales is a kid-friendly fairy tale anthology where each volume is folklore from a specific continent. So the one that's on the screen is all Asian folklore. And we have one that's African folklore, European folklore, Oceania folklore, North American, and South American. So those are the 6 volumes.
Okay. How did this start?
So I made a mini comic that was adapting a French folktale about a werewolf.
Of course you did.
Yeah. And a few people's reactions to it was, I always meant to like adapt a fairy tale. And I was like, well, let's do it. So this was the first time I was being an editor. Is I sort of organized several webcomic people to make what was the European one, and it was mostly people that I talked to every day because then if the Kickstarter failed, they knew me well enough to be like I wasn't stiffing them on payment because I was being a shitty person. It was just, they all knew like the Kickstarter is how they were all going to get paid.
Yeah.
And then once the European one was sort of proof of concept, I could slowly invite people that didn't know me as well. So we did the Africa one second, and then the Asia one, and then the Oceania one, and then the North America one, and the South America one was the last one.
I imagine that this entailed a shit ton of research.
Well, I just told people to find the story on their own. So,
okay.
Okay. So everyone, it was basically pick a story. Whoever says they want to adapt it first gets first dibs. So that also encouraged them to pick which folktale they wanted to adapt quicker. You're muted.
Yeah, I got so excited I kicked my mic out. So let me just make sure that this is still on the correct mic. It is not. Let me do that. Okay, there we go. Fix that.
So it was basically telling people whoever picks a story first gets first dibs on it. Helped people pick stuff quicker and confirm their involvement quicker.
Okay. The project as a whole, like, has it been fairly easygoing, or was it like pretty stressful? Because this is pretty big. Anthologies in general.
So it's problem was mostly it's kid friendly, but kids don't browse online. So I had the experience of it sold really well at conventions, but then it was a little bit harder to get over the finish line through Kickstarter. And I teamed up with Iron Circus to keep it in print. So it was around the time I was crowdfunding the 4th volume, which is the Night Marchers, is when Iron Circus and I made a deal that they would pick up the series and keep it in print. So then, because while crowdfunding the Asian one of the stretch goals was that we had to reprint the European one. So it was sort of, that was the main problem, was keeping that many books in print. And so Iron Circus taking it over, they gave it new covers. So if you pick it up from me at a convention, I might have a different cover because I still have some of the old European ones and Oceania ones left.
Interesting.
And then, but it's really taken off because through Iron Circus, it now has access to libraries and schools and bookstores. So it can reach its target audience easier.
Nice. That's kind of what I was thinking, and that was the basis for my question, because I definitely see this being in libraries and schools. And congrats on that, by the way. I'm glad that deal was made. Now we're just moving on with that. I don't have the other 2 books in the series, pictures of that, but I will list them below. But this is the book I do have.
Yep.
So, gosh, I don't remember when I got this, but tell my audience about Misfits of Avalon.
Misfits of Avalon is about magical girls that are jerks fighting a reincarnated King Arthur.
Yep. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And you're right about them being jerks.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, like, was that always like the intention? Did you intend to make them that jerky and sort of sassy?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I love characters that are jerks. And female characters don't get to be jerks that often. And so having the whole cast get to be jerks, I had a lot of fun writing it.
I could tell by the way you're smiling right now.
I wish it did better.
Well, maybe it will. It's still available.
I believe book 1's out of print.
Well, I saw it on. Oh wait, that might have been a used. It might have been a used copy on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be any plans in the future to get it back in print?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, we got to fix that, y'all. Let's figure it out. We'll talk later in the comments. Okay. And let's see what else is that we got. Oh, we've run through them all. We have run through them all. So, okay, that was the examples that I had. But, let's just chat for a second. What else do people need to know about KEL McDONALD? Like, what is the project you need them to pay attention to right now?
Well, like I said, The City Between, because that's consuming a lot of my thoughts and energy, because it's 100% designed on what I'm interested in, and everyone else be damned. I jokingly say it takes place in a future that has no cars and horses have gone extinct.
Oh my God.
So I don't have to draw either of those things.
Can somebody at least have a pair of roller skates?
Yeah, no, roller skates are fine. Those are easier to draw than a car. Okay. Everyone takes public transit. Then, and like I said, it's about werewolves. It's I really like writing stuff that's more about smaller societal stories.
Okay.
So, like I said, there's the whole thing about as technology gets better, supernatural creatures know they're going to get caught more and more. I told you the guy who's the main sort of poster child of werewolves is a cop. And he is very into respectability politics and optics on how werewolves should and shouldn't behave in public.
Oh my God.
Because all cops suck. So it does include the cop character that is the, yeah. And so there's like ongoing sort of discussions while there's sort of the main conflict of each story.
Okay. I like that. You know, it's not just, it's interesting, it's deep, it's got some connections to the real world while still allowing for the escapism we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can dig that. You know, I use at this point of the show, normally I segue into talking to my guests about what are their hobbies, but if you're doing all of this, you don't do stuff, do you?
Oh, someone asked me, like, I was filling out one of those social media meme replies where one of the questions was what your hobbies, and I was about to write, I don't have hobbies. But then the friend I was with was like fitness, and I was like, oh, I guess that is my hobby now, because I've been trying to get in shape for the past few years. I'm building up to being able to do the One Punch Man workout, which is 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and run 10K. So God. I go to the gym almost every morning.
What was the catalyst for this? Like, what made you decide that, like, you know, I'm going to do this?
Well, at the time, everyone was talking about punching Nazis. So the joke was being able to defeat Nazis in one punch.
Okay.
But also, like, online, people were like, this is actually a decent workout, like, because it hits all the different muscle groups. And so just building toward that goal, slow and steady.
Are you pretty happy with where you are right now with your workouts?
Slowly getting there.
You got like a whole, like, do you have it, like, do you just know what you're going to do, or do you have like it planned out?
I have it planned out.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, like, let me ask you this. Are you more confident in your punching ability now?
Oh, no. Because I'm not even halfway there yet. So.
Okay. All right. So can you handle like a strong poke? Like, can you just poke poke a motherfucker in the eye? Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, I can do that.
Okay, cool. You can be on my team then. So with that being said, then, like, if this is your hobby, and I imagine you must be getting, like, is this part of your mental health routine too, or is it just the workout?
It's just the workout, and I'm not weighing myself. I'm mostly focused on performance.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also occasionally play video games.
So you've been holding out on me.
Yeah. Well, so I say occasionally is because it's like right now it's just Baldur's Gate 3. And
that's what we're all playing.
Yeah, well, it's also RimWorld. Like, and so it's kind of like when people are like, well, what games do you play? And it's like, it's mostly just RimWorld. And I've been streaming Baldur's Gate 3 on my Twitch. I do like an art stream on weekdays, and then Sunday nights I stream my run on Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice. I'll put the link for that below as well, y'all. So look in the description for that too.
So I'm playing as a Dark Urge run.
Oh my God.
I think Dark Urge is the real main character. And romancing Astarion with Hallison on the side.
Okay. You know, audience, I want you to go back because this will be released afterwards, but I want you to go back and see my interview with Taki Soma as we discuss Baldur's Gate 3 and how neither one of us could handle Dark Urge.
Oh, Dark Urge is the real main character. Because the previous Baldur's Gates, do you know why Dark Urge has the Dark Urge, or is that?
I do. No, okay. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I like the story. I couldn't handle making those choices.
You just resist, and then you're a good guy, Dark Urge.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yes, you resist, except for like there's the one
you just knock her out before that cutscene. Okay, and then you get a different bard to murder.
Exactly. I was playing as a monk my first run, and then I don't know what happened, but I rolled wrong and I killed Asterion.
Oh,
I stabbed him right in the chest, right in the camp. It didn't happen for the rest of the game.
Whoops.
Yeah, but I think I romanced a little bit everybody.
So when I'm done with my Dark Urge run, I was going to play as Astarion.
Okay, well, I don't know if you heard, but there's a new update.
Yeah, I know there's a new update. I watched the little animation advertising it.
Okay, word up.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got plans that like plays Astarion in Romance Will, play as Will in Romance Karlach.
Is Karlach romanceable?
Yeah.
Man, I screwed up bad.
So part of the reason why people are saying the easiest way to romance Karlach is if you play as Will, because apparently there is a glitch where Will's romance scene will interrupt Karlach's. So people who are trying to romance Karlach were accidentally getting Will's romance scene and couldn't finish romancing her. So
good to know.
So yeah, and then I was gonna play as a red dragonborn in Romance Lae'zel because she keeps wanting to ride a red dragon.
Okay, fair. That counts. That totally counts. Shit, now I might want to do that. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to log on pretty soon. It's been a couple months for me, and that is actually part of my mental health routine. Is escaping into video games a little bit, as well as therapy. I like to go to therapy when I can. So wow, yeah, we've got the chance to talk about a lot, and you being the busybody you are, still finding time to do the One Punch Man workout and occasionally playing video games. Is there anything else that people would be surprised to know about you, or anything else that?
No, that's really all I do. I just work out in the morning, work all day, and then unwind with video games at night.
Okay, you say that, and I will believe you for now, but we're getting ready to test that theory. Because I think it's time for our bonus round, and that means that you get to spin the wheel 5 times, and then we find out a little bit more about you. So, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. 5 spins. First spin, number 1. First of all, let's close these ads. Y'all ain't paying me. There we go. Spin number 1. Let's see what we get. Oh, that's funny. All right. So, what is your favorite procrastination activity?
I don't procrastinate. I'm a freak. I don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
If I get stuck with a creative block, I mentioned that I was drawing the 6th City Between story while writing the 7th. I just go work on something else. So it's not really procrastination because there's always progress getting made.
Okay.
So
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I don't really
Fair enough.
procrastinate. I'm a freak like that.
You do sleep though, right? And
I
like
do
eat
sleep.
food. You consume, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Okay, fair enough. We'll move on to question number 2. Spin number 2. What we got? Oh boy. Is it going to hit that one or that one? Oh, you got lucky. Yeah. Now, next you're going to tell me you don't have time for Kool-Aid.
I can't remember the last time I drank Kool-Aid. I guess red. That's a flavor.
It is a flavor. It is, yeah. Red. Everybody knows red is the best flavor of Kool-Aid. Anybody who says otherwise, they tripping. Hell yeah. Did you ever do the thing when you were a kid where you would freeze Kool-Aid in a styrofoam cup and eat it and drink it that way or eat it that way?
No. So the thing is my dad mostly he didn't like to buy Kool-Aid because it was more expensive than other drinks at the store. I drank a lot of milk as a kid, and so it was a lot of chocolate milk or strawberry milk rather than Kool-Aid.
Nice. Okay. Wait, even in the summer?
Yeah, even in the summer.
Oof, I can't do it. Strawberry milk on a hot summer day means I have to go inside early. Cold.
Yeah.
No, I mean on a hot summer day, but the chocolate or the milk, I don't know. It messes with me. I'd have to take a break.
A food I absolutely hate. I hate a lot of foods. I don't like calamari or like octopuses. I don't like the texture of octopus and squid. And so that's the one that jumps to my mind.
No, that's a good answer. You're not alone in that. I've run into many people who are just like, hell no, I don't want that in my mouth. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. In reference to food. All right. This is number 4, I believe. What we got? Oh my God, you're eating like all food things today.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know what you don't like. So what's your favorite snack or comfort food?
I really like cheeseburgers. Yeah.
Okay. Any particular place?
I usually make them at home. Yeah, kind of just any. I feel like even a shitty cheeseburger, I'm good.
Damn. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
It's hard to fuck up a cheeseburger in my mind.
You'd be surprised. I've seen some shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're on the last one. Oh, interesting. If you have one.
I don't have one. I'm dead. Zombie apocalypse happens. I'm dead.
Damn, just like that?
No, yeah, no.
Are you at least gonna run?
No.
You just gonna sit there like you just gonna what? Just turn on your favorite show or something? Just chill?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least set fire to something. I don't know. Help the rest of us a little bit. Okay. That was 5 questions.
All right.
How you feel about that? You're good?
Good.
Okay. You want to do one more?
Sure. Let's do another one.
Aha. One more. Let's see. I swear to God, if it's food.
If it's food, re-roll.
Oh. Okay. Audibly say, not just think it, audibly.
So I don't usually say that audibly. I'm more just to be like, nope. And walk away rather than oh hell nah.
Okay, I'll accept a nope.
I at Emerald City one year, I got to the exhibitor table that I get there every year, and there weren't any tables. And they're supposed to come with tables.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, nope, I'm gonna go yell at someone about this. On a different podcast, I was asked when was the last time I wanted to flip a table over. And I was mentioned this same incident, but there was no table to flip. So,
well, I mean, did you just make a motion of flipping a table? Like there's nothing there?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was, I actually experienced the same thing recently at a toy show. I, paid for this big space. I get there with my cart full of goodies, and there's no table whatsoever there. No tables, chairs, nothing. And I was like one of the first people there. So,
yeah.
But I did not audibly say, oh, hell no, or nope. I did what you did. I was just quiet, and I walked my ass right back over to the people and was like, hey, fix this.
Yeah. So. You need to fix this right now. And this was after I yelled at them over the phone about our table placement.
Maybe they did it on purpose. Now y'all got to fight.
No, they're just incompetent. I have to yell at them every year.
Well, you know what? That's a whole nother discussion if we want to talk about that convention. So let's save that for another episode. Okay, so that pretty much concludes my time with KEL. Is there last thing that you'd like to give to my audience? Any wise words, piece of advice, or just tomfoolery? Please go for it.
Don't chase your dreams. Pursue them at a reasonable pace, because humans are persistence predators rather than sprinters. That's how I do everything that I do. Is I'm doing it at a reasonable, slow pace. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's something that I needed to hear right now myself, especially as I try to grow this channel. I need to realize it is a marathon, not a sprint, and chill out a little bit sometimes. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And all my stuff is at KELMcDONALD.com.
Yeah, which again will be linked below, along with Twitch and Patreon, and Instagram and everything else.
I don't really use Instagram. I kind of hate social media.
We don't like it either.
Yeah. The one I use the most is Blue Sky.
Okay. Would you like followers there? Would you like people to follow you there?
Yeah, that if you're gonna link a social media, link Blue Sky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, will do. And that will be it for us, the interview portion. I am going to end it here, but you folks make sure to come back and watch, because KEL and I are going to do a music video reaction together right after this. All right. You guys take care. I'm in the video here. Watch my outro and blah, blah, blah. See you next time.